The man who perpetrates violence, the man who always commits and executes evil, not only to himself but also against the other's will, must always be made to suffer, he must always be brought to the justice, and he must also always suffer from misery, basically tragedy in one or another, obviously at the hands of fate, destiny, universe, and the gods themselves in one or another, and also at the hands of the society, because it's always the lawbreaker, the violator of norms, ideologies, social codes, outside principles that must be punished by the rule of law, and that must also simultaneously be brought to the front and introduced to and by everyone. And it's not that the whole society is corrupt, infiltrated, compromised, but it's our politicians, representatives, administrators, officials whom we trust, admire, respect, support, vote for at every step of the way that are corrupt, infiltrated, and obviously the whole Indian system and society, or basically the government, are highly compromised in one or another. So much so that we just do not have any sovereignty, freedom, independence left in our actions, behaviors, because the corporate enterprise, private companies have eaten up all the shares, wealth, riches, resources that we have at by increased taxes. The government is looting us and multiplying, enhancing its defense and offensive sales and weapons from the Western countries, which we don't even need, or we don't know how we're going to utilize all that. But we're having to bear the brunt of all that, and obviously, our foreign policy and basically other decisions are now being constantly dictated from the outside sources, and obviously international waters in one or another. So that is the thing, that it's not just one man evil, but it's the whole system that's evil, that is hell bent on creating and perpetrating corruption, transgression, discrimination, partiality inside of the society. It's the rule of law precisely because of which there is criminality, violence, corruption inside the society, because of enforcement, because of regression, repression, and it's also because of unnecessary torture and arbitrary rules, regulations being imposed and forced upon us because of crises, unemployment, corruption, that there is uh, the rise of the violators and criminals in the society. And that means the system makes his own masters. The system always creates scapegoats upon which it can project its own flaws and arbitrariness and evils and bring the one man to the execution. Although he might not always be to blame, although his sufferings comes from the system, from the unfair society itself in one